just want to give you a few tips for your asana practice. Because with the invention of Western yoga, I want to clear up some real life classic yoga tips that are vital for that practice. In no particular order. Make sure you breathe into the pose to take you further. So if you're going into a forward bend and you can't get very far, you want to make sure you inhale. And when you exhale, the pose will take you further. It might just be a little tiny bit at first, but when you're trying to go deeper into a pose, you want to make sure that the breath takes you there. If you've gone too far, let's say in a forward bend, and your chest starts to collapse, that means you've gone too far for you. So bring your attention and awareness back to the breath and then move forward into the forward bend or any pose that you're going to go into. It's all about the breath. Okay, the next one is to be free of cat clawing. You know, when you're doing this, so you want your hands spread out, palms down, fingers spread, and try to distribute your weight evenly on the whole hand, including the fingers. And this also includes your feet. Your feet. A lot of times when we're in more difficult poses, we're going to do this, what we call cat clawing. And you want to spread it out and put the weight evenly on the fingers, like I said, the palms, and then your toes, all the way through the balls of your foot and the heels, depending on what pose you're in. So cat clawing kind of defeats the purpose of movement and forward, and it doesn't aid in the whole body stretch. So do your best to not cat claw. Relax into the pose. And so that means being grip free. Yoga is done barefoot. I've been to some classes lately where people have been wearing socks. So the whole premise of yoga is to connect with the earth, right? Connect with our mother, connect with the mat. And if we have socks on, it's a whole different energetic feel. So I'm not sure, it must be a trend, I guess, that people are starting to wear socks in class. Even if they have the grippy things on them, no need. Take the socks off, it doesn't matter what the weather. Now, I can tell you the one time I wear socks and gloves with the pads, the grips, is when I don't have a yoga mat. I will use those two things because we need something to stick to. Ideally, when we were doing yoga poses, we would be doing them on the earth with no mat at all. And the mats they make these days are not sticky mats. They're mats more to protect your knees, which is not a bad idea. But if you're doing yoga correctly, you shouldn't really need to worry about protecting your knees. Now, if you're overweight or you have bad knees, it's good to get a Mexican blanket to help you. But again, if you're doing the poses correctly for your specific body type, there should be no I'm just trying to think of instances where I would actually need to have extra padding, because back when I was selling yoga mats and teaching at Eastern Michigan University, I sold the original cut. They came in a roll and you would cut them to a certain length, and that's what I sold to the students. They were really thin mats. I don't like thick mats because you can see the mat when you take a step. You don't want to see the mat. You want to remember it's about connecting to the earth, okay? So do your best to do that. Now, here's a biggie. In hot yoga, I notice specifically that they will drink water during the session, in between the session. So in all the years I've been doing yoga and practicing Ayurveda, you should not be drinking any water doing your asana practice because it messes with the digestive system. No, do not sip between class. You might sip before class just a little bit, but you want to make sure that your stomach is very empty. Very empty as in do not eat 3 hours prior to your class because it will mess with your digestive system when you're doing the asanas. Besides, if you've ever popped into a last minute class after you've just eaten, don't you feel like you're going to barf when you're in some of the harder poses? I know I do. When I've done it, I try not to do it, but at least give yourself an hour. Do your best to give yourself 3 hours. You really need to have that 3 hours. You need to be practicing yoga on an empty stomach. That's why you should do it. I say first thing in the morning, but I meditate first. Then I do my breath work. Then I do my asana practice. Then I eat sometime after that. Make sure you're moving with intention and awareness with every pose and even in between. Don't check your watch. Don't check for messages. Be in the moment. Keep the phone out of the way of your practice. Listening to nice, calming music. Oh, and music. Let's just talk about music. We're not in the 80s when we used to headbang and jump around, which obviously I see in these made-up classes for Western culture. And here again, I am talking about classic yoga. If you're into that, that's great, but please, just listen to maybe some yoga chants. That's my favorite, is yoga chanting. Or I love DJ Taz, Odessa, David Pramal, which is chanting music, Jai Uttal, Sam Garrett, people like that, where you are flowing with the music, brings me to the next point. When you are doing certain poses, let's say you're doing, we're talking about the elbows here. So your elbows, you want to make sure that they are parallel to the mat. So if you're in a forward bend, let's say, forward bend, you want to make sure that the elbows are up. Forward bend, elbows up. Forward bend, elbows up. You'll see it in my videos because the elbows, it's harder. I can tell you that. It is harder to do. But that's the whole point, is to do actual poses with alignment. It's easier to keep our elbows down when, say, we're going to a forward bend. But when we keep them up, it opens up our chest, and we want to expand our chest and move into the poses. So keep your elbows up. Keep your elbows up. And spread your fingers again, like I said, and your palms are down. Toes are down, maybe the heels are down. Breathe with the pose. So for instance, if you're in an upward dog, you're breathing in and exhale for downward dog. And the mainstay for me is to do it with a count of 4. So if you watch my videos, you'll usually see that I am going into a pose. Say we're going into forward bend. It's going to be a count of 4. Count of 4, back up. Count of 4 into the next pose. Count of 4. So it's inhale 4, exhale 4. Inhale 4, exhale 4. If you want to do it longer, that's great. If you can only do 2, do 2. But just keep the breath even throughout all the postures. Now, keep your spine in alignment the best you can throughout the session. That means that your spine should be as straight as possible. If your spine is compromised, that means you've gone too far for you for now. So let's say we're doing this one, and your chest starts to cave like this. You've gone too far. It's keeping that spine straight. Even when you're in meditation, it's spine straight, shoulders down, chin parallel to the floor. But when you're moving into forward bends, you only go as far as you can without your chest collapsing. So if your chest is collapsing, you've gone too far for you for now. But remember, it's that breath that takes you deeper into the pose. Because I was a gymnast when I was young, and I was pretty flexible. But I'm more flexible now because I use the breath to move me where I'm going. If you stretch right, you stretch left. If you stretch forward, you stretch backward. Think about that. Think about it. It's the balance. If you're doing, see, that's why, let's go back to sun salutations again. If you're going into forward bend, then you're coming up. You're going downward dog, and then you're doing upward dog. That's balance. Forward equals backwards. Right equals left. Balance it. Yes, and one last thing I want to mention. I wear cotton as much as possible. And back when I started doing yoga, it was not a fashion statement. It was all about the yoga itself. So we were wearing some pretty slobby clothes back then, but I like to dress sensual. I wear cotton because cotton is breathable. Yes, this dry weave stuff is horrible. Polyester, horrible. And you know, yoga is not a fashion statement. I walk into classes sometime wearing some pretty different kind of clothes compared to the Lululemon look. But remember, Lululemon built a brand. A brand. It's not about your yoga practice. It's not about what you wear. You can wear shorts into the class as long as they're breathable. Breathable clothes is what you want. So that's basically the gist of my summation of some tips for your classic yoga practice. If you have any questions, reach out, because I have been practicing for over 34 years before it was popular to practice yoga. And some of the things I see today are a little scary. When I went to class the other day, a girl told us to go into swan pose. I didn't know what she meant because we were actually in pigeon pose. So make sure you're getting a teacher that has quite a few years of experience. She is pretty young, and she doesn't call out the poses correctly a lot. And then she calls out some poses I've never heard of. I don't know. Anyway, have a great practice today. Take some time to relax, meditate, breath work. You've got this. It's Gary B. That's me.